This is Tuesdays with Artificial Intelligence, with your host, Peter Ward.
Good morning. Welcome to Tuesdays with Artificial Intelligence. My name is Peter Ward, and I'm located in New York City. Got a fantastic guest, Andre, and you're in the Ukraine. So what time is it where you are then?
Hi, everybody. So today is Monday, and it's 4 p.m. for me.
Okay, very cool. And I have a co-host, Carl, who's probably in the colder neck of the woods in Canada. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Peter. Thank you.
Right, so it's Monday morning. I think myself and Carl got our morning coffees. I don't know about you, Carl. Are you on the herbal tea or are you on anything stronger? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Coffee all the way. I need the caffeine this morning.
Okay. So, Andre, you're going to be talking about moving from simple chatbots to autonomous agents. Just very quickly, what's the difference between a chatbot and an autonomous agent?
Chatbots, there is a concept, I think everybody knows about this, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or other chatbots, or, for example, Microsoft Copilot. And this is the just simple chat that you can ask the AI or LLM to answer your question, to get some information, to make a translation and other use cases. And now the chatbots are getting more and more complicated. For example, you can buy whatever you want with some shopping assistance, some analytics and other things, but they're still the chatbots. And if we talk about the autonomous agents, in chatbot, you cannot do any autonomous things. You have to be in the loop. You are asking and you are getting the answer there. There are some agent modes in the LLMs, but we cannot say that it's autonomous agents. And with autonomous agent concept, you can, for example, ask the bot or agent to make some things that it can do independently and just give you the result. For example, the good example, I think it's the Claude Cowork or OpenClaw, as you can ask them to do something independently. They can go to the browser, they can find the files at your computer they are not used, and find something in your mailbox. So this is the real autonomous agents.
Okay. So when you talk, that's quite simple. That's like level one. Now, where the real power is where you are perhaps getting that information from a CRM, or big enterprise data system. I know your background is CRMs, but are you doing any deployments where people are getting that data using the autonomous agents with the enterprise applications?
So we can also do a lot of things with autonomous agents. And for example, you can ask your autonomous agent to go to the CRM system, find the top, let's say, items that are not that didn't have a good selling point, and get these results. Or you can go to the CRM and find the leads, the prospects that you can contact again and to get some additional information regarding this. But this is only the level one, as you said. But within level two, you have to build the agents that can do this thing autonomously, and it can be it can repeat its own actions, because if you do if you do the comment, if you give the comment to the agent, and it will get some from the CRM system. Honestly, there is not a lot of value from this, right? And to bring a lot of more value, you have to build the system, for example, that get the leads from, let's say, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, then it validates them, then it put them into the CRM system, or it can also call them, write an email to them, or message them to the WhatsApp, for example. This is the thing we are trying to do. Yeah, I mean, as the community of AI companies that are making this automations.
It's funny you say that. It's like I always, you hear a lot of these people say, oh yeah, and particularly the AI companies and tech companies, and oh yeah, we can connect to your CRM. Great. So what? You need that action, okay? And it's a bit like everybody knows how to lose weight, but that doesn't mean you lose weight. Everybody knows you've got 10,000 contacts in your database. That doesn't mean it's valuable, okay? And if you've got that action, like out of those 10,000 contacts, how many of those are hitting your website every every month? Okay, that's when you've got value. How many of those people are actually doing business with you? How many of those people, those contacts, are doing are working for companies, doing business, but not in engagements? That's the value proposition here. And if you can get that insight, then that's sort of like where you've got some, pretty powerful, a powerful business model. And I'm not totally sure we're quite. I haven't really seen that in many ways where that's actually working. I have to say, I don't know. Carl, have you seen that in many ways? I know your experience is more teams.
Yeah, we've certainly seen some success more behind the scenes for now with our support team being able to quickly dig up product documentation, that kind of thing, instead of searching through knowledge base and take 5 minutes. Having an LLM built on it, you can, with a few prompts, gather a quick response for a customer within a few seconds. You mentioned, Peter, you called it a chatbots versus agents. I think another thing here is like we've arrived in the age where these agents feel very human versus chatbots maybe a few years ago, which was just like kind of more command driven. I feel like now you're talking very naturally. Sometimes you can be speaking with an agent without even realizing that it's not a human.
I was having an argument with Claude over the weekend because I said, review this technical documentation, but don't give me advice. Just tell me what's wrong with it. Don't give me pointers. And I'm going back and forth. And then I said, can you please give me pointers of additions, recommendations? And he said, no, I'm not doing that because that was not in my scope of this chat. So I had to create another chat in Claude to do this, which is kind of like it reminds me of, have you ever read the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I've seen the movie.
Okay. Well, there's a scene in there where there's an elevator going up and down, and apparently the elevator is intelligent enough to tell you what's going on that floor, and the guy wants to go to floor 7 or whatever, and the elevator won't do it because he said there's someone out there to kill you. No, I need to get to 7. I need to get to level 7, and that's a sci-fi thing, but that's now coming into our vocabulary and our behavior now, actually. On that front, which is quite interesting. So going back to Audrey, okay, in terms of like the agents and what you're saying here, are we looking at like science projects here, or how attainable is this sort of like, is this to sort of like for smaller companies?
So for smaller companies, I believe that there are a lot of tools that are designed for the smaller companies. And the small companies, they are just getting these tools and do some stuff. For example, they can get the tool like Jasper AI, for example, humanize their content and put it into the social media, or create that content fabric to constantly generate the content and do that automatically, like connecting to the Nana Banana, for example, from Google, and connect some LLM model and generate text, generate pictures, generate video, and do that automatically. Some say that this is good for getting more views, but other people, marketing professionals, saying that generally the amount of views do not give you anything. You just need the leads, and you need to post the content that gives you some value, brings value to your potential customers. And for a small business, you can just, for example, do a lot of stuff with simple LLM, pay $20 or $30 per month, and to do automate a lot of stuff. However, you can go one step beyond and create the system using even ChatGPT. What I mean, create the assistants. For example, create a document that will describe the tone of voice of the company, describe the ICP, describe the information about the product. Then give the assistant link to this document or assistants. For example, marketing manager, for example, the person that responds to the sales, and that can get this information from the document, and it will be more accurate to the company to make all these automations.
Right. Okay. Because the other thing as well, like I can understand what you're saying. Like if I HR approval, I want to go on vacation. I use my chat. Instead of going to my line manager to approve it, the autonomous agent can say, look, you've got 15 days left. Of course you can do that. And maybe it can say, wait a minute here, there's other members of your team that are out. That's going to be not approved. That goes against the governance of team vacation policy. And that's all simple stuff, very, I would say, straight line efforts. But I always find that chatbots are almost like going through 10 realms of hell, particularly when you're with an airline, okay, and you've got to do something a little bit abnormal, like, okay, can I get a stroller on the airplane? Can I take it on as a carry-on, or do I need to check it in? Okay, you go to the chatbot and it says, what's your flight number? Okay, can I help you? Can I help you? Can you do this? Okay, and it goes round and round in circles, and then the chatbot has the authority to sort of like say, how well can you rank this chat? And it's almost like you've not even answered the question for the last 30 minutes here. And I'm getting close. It's a very stressful situation because the flight is in 12 hours. I got the whole family sort of like wondering about this, and I can't get an answer, and I can't get through on the helpline. And the helpline is saying to me, use the chatbots. Okay, so you kind of like, I can't sometimes feel, well, wait a minute here. If you need to have, everyone says, oh, you need to serve the customer. If you don't serve the customer, someone else will. But that's a good example of like, it's an abnormal thing, but there's no mechanism for me to actually solve that issue. And if you can solve me that issue, particularly in a state of my mild emergency, you're going to create brand loyalty. Okay, because I realize other airlines can't cope, particularly with family vacations. I'll pay a little bit more of a premium to have like a smoother family. I think it's the first day of the family, and then the whole flight is a total disaster because I can't get the stroller can't be checked in, or it's another $100 to check the stroller in. And I'm finding this out now because I couldn't get on the ticketing, and nobody could answer my question. Okay, and that's where you get that frustration. You kind of think, like if it's a bit like Southwest Airlines. Like if you actually, have you ever been on Ryanair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you go on Ryanair, and it's basically, it's always like it's $15 to fly from like Berlin to sort of like London or whatever. As a result, it's like but you sort of like you get on there and you think, well, I managed to get on the airplane without them gouging me on the bag being half an inch too large. Okay, the coffee, the fact they didn't charge me for water or the toilet, and I haven't been pistol whipped by Serbian bandits. I'm quite okay actually on this whole thing. Okay, but it's a price, and it's a race to the bottom. And if you're going to have a business like that, it ain't going to, it's not going to be that great. Yeah. And I feel like this is the whole thing. When people are outsourcing AI, it's a cost-setting exercise rather than a business opportunity exercise.
Peter, something you touched on that I think leans into what we were talking about 5 minutes ago is like, you talked about a very like procedural chatbot that felt almost like a phone menu of like you're saying certain things and it's expecting certain responses and you're just not getting to where you need to. That's the beauty of these about the agentic AI, is that now you can just shoot it really like an open question and it goes to the LLM. And to Andre's point, if it's pointing to the right data and the data is good and it's well structured, it should be able to answer that question immediately without having to go in 10 different directions.
Or it realizes that I cannot answer your question. This is an edge case. I don't have it. How do I get that? And then bring it into my knowledge base. And then you're building that knowledge base.
And so regarding the knowledge base, companies that I'm working with, a lot of them trying to implement the chatbots for internal usage, for external usage, for the customers. And one thing that when they are starting to do that, they're having the problems with the data. For example, there are two kinds of things. Their data, let's say, for example, internal knowledge, HR knowledge system, and it's spread across the company. Somewhere the documents regarding the vacations, in another place like SharePoint, we're having the templates, in other place policies, and in local computer of the HR, we can see some useful top answered questions. And when we are trying to stick this together, usually we're having the hallucination from the AI bot. Why? Because there are duplicates there, the missing items, and we're starting from scratch. I can say we have to go 10 years ago and to start the data preparation in the company, and then building the AI chatbots on top of them, on top of this layer. This is, I can say that maybe the top one problem from my perspective when you're starting implementing these AI chatbots.
And it's also quite like the most unglorious work too. It's like tedious, but it's so important. Sorry, go ahead, Peter.
Would you say we're going for this a case where, like, I know 30 years ago, we went from this whole information transformation from paper-based filing cabinets to in the digital world. And now we're going from this digital world to basically the data actually being tagged and readable for the AI world. And it's also, and that means permissions, it means security, it means stale data and live data, and archive data. And so that value of that information is more valuable, but it's also more expensive to maintain as well. So, OG, just tell me, like, I know you are, you're in the Ukraine and your company, you own your own company. What typical projects are you working on these days with chats and anonymous agents?
So we're having some complex, big projects. These are transformation projects, and we are working on creating the system in the company that can connect the data sources, different data sources inside the companies, and add the AI layer. For example, what practical is it? So, for example, this includes the system that you can build your own AI chatbots across the organization using, let's say, technology and connecting this data and giving the people, the technology that can just clean their data, put the data into the shared folder, and make this connection between AI bot and this data. Another thing is to create the system that can make the whole company to be AI, I can say AI driven. What it includes. So, for example, you are connecting the AI to the CRM system, our conversation that we started, but then we can use the data from the CRM system, for example, to help salespeople to make more sales, to bring more value to the company. We are connecting some other systems like not only the sales, but for example, the marketing, to get the information from the marketing team and making these cross connections. And the problem with this is the main problem is that data across the company is stored everywhere. So at computers of the employees, at SharePoint, at for example Google Drive, that was the old system for this company. Then in different business intelligence platforms, in CRM systems, and connecting all this together and to get the real value from this data is the pretty big amount of work. Also the transformation, I mean the changing or helping the people to adopt these AI instruments and systems. It's, I think, the biggest problem at the moment.
Okay, so what are companies doing to get around that?
For example, we're working with the company that is making the pet food, and this is the non-technical. We're simply working mostly with the non-technical companies, because for the technical companies, IT companies, outsource companies, or they're making their own product, they're pretty good. They're having a pretty good understanding of the AI power and how to implement this into their business processes. But the non-technical companies, they have a big lack of this adoption, and we're having our own tools that can optimize their processes. For example, we're having the AI tool that you just give me the BPMN process or the picture of the process, or you are just having the text that describes this process, putting this into the AI system, and the AI system mark the items of the process. This brings value, this doesn't bring value to the customer. That can be automated with this AI tools or instruments. This is from this process cannot be automated, and this helps companies to understand what is the next step of making the AI adoption in their companies.
Okay, so Microsoft Foundry Agent Service, that fits in for building. Describe that to the listeners. Describe that to me.
This is another concept, let's say, into the AI. For example, previously we have the knowledge how to work with LLMs, with the chatbots. That's it. Then we started to build the agents that can do some operations. Talking with the customers or integrating with social medias. I mean the chats to getting the response from the customers and maybe sell something. But then we understood that it's good, but we need a platform to orchestrate all the things. And first, it was the platform for testing the agents and workflows. And for example, I think 2 years ago, I helped one of my friends to build a simple RAG bot. And we using the Azure AI Foundry, I think we spent 1 hour to build this prototype in just clicking, putting the prompt there, clicking the run button or creating the Azure services, also to store the data and to make it in vectorization. But we spent an hour to make the prototype, and he was really happy that he got this. But then, you will need to make it working in production, let's say. But prototyping made it so easy.
That's true. And the good thing about that is that you get traction as well. And that means you can get feedback pretty quickly on that front. Who do you think is winning the AI corporate wars? Copilot, Claude, Chat. Here we are. It's April 2026.
As Microsoft MVP, I'll say Microsoft will do that.
I guess that answer could change every other month, right? It's moving so quickly.
Well, I think I think we're using Claude quite a bit internally here. And don't get me wrong, we're still using Copilot a lot and Foundry, and I think it's getting to it's almost like there's a little bit of experiment. There's a bit of an experimentation, like Claude, and Copilot, and then we're using graphic chat, and we're using chat as well, and then we're using graphical tools like Midjourney as well. I'm sure we're going to get to a stage where we're going to standardize on all of this as well. Predominantly, we're in the Microsoft stack as well.
I think where Microsoft has an advantage right now is it is very embedded for the knowledge workers. And Peter, we touched this on the previous episode, but it's also live and interactive in your interactions, like on a call or in a meeting. It's already gathering notes mid-call, being able to interact with you. Whereas if you're using Claude, usually it's working off of a transcript after the fact. Where I think Claude or some of these other tools do have tremendous benefits, if you think of Claude specifically, is the desktop automation, the browser plugin. Andre mentioned it earlier, but I can have it run some Apple script and completely take over my computer if I wanted to, and have it do things magically on screen. That is not yet available on the Copilot side. So I think it really depends what companies are looking for, and it's not a single answer for everybody.
Well, yeah, I think obviously the Microsoft's got the advantage because it's got your data all in the Microsoft stack, okay, or like OneDrive, SharePoint, and Outlook. So that's a good, and don't get me wrong, like Claude and Chat can actually connect to this, but I view it as a bit like this room. If I was going to do an inventory of this room, Copilot is sitting in this room, and it can get the inventory, but it will get a lot better inventory than Chat or Claude, which is perhaps looking in this room from outside the window. And so they can work, but I think Copilot will works better because it's actually in the room with the data as well. That's what I say.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that if you are building some ecosystem, AI ecosystem, and you are having the Microsoft stack, you will get more benefits using the Copilot and some other AI platforms from Microsoft to do this work. Because if you are mid or enterprise, it will be hard to connect Claude inside your system because you have to deal with security teams, some implementation teams, and innovation teams. And if you have the Microsoft licenses, it's easier to just get the additional license to your employee. For example, just a small case, if you want to make some automation in Excel using the plugin, you just go to your IT department and maybe manager and asking this additional license to enable the Copilot Excel plugin that will boost your productivity inside the Excels if you're having hundreds of tens of these spreadsheets. And this makes a lot easier your life in the company and making the increase the productivity.
I was just gonna say it's kind of a timely discussion as Claude had some of its source code leaked a couple of days ago. It's true that IT departments might be a little more comfortable with something that seems a little more airtight on the Microsoft side of things. Everything lives within the tenant, whereas Claude would be leveraging delegated access through Graph APIs, but ultimately you have something that's outside of your tenant now, kind of querying and grabbing things. So that could raise an eyebrow for sure. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
Okay, the other thing as well, I think where Microsoft will have the advantage is with the pricing model, is that when people start buying E5 and E7 stuff, Copilot's included. So why have two AI agents when you're already paying for something? And that's the standard Microsoft would say playbook in terms of in terms of like, well, you're paying for this as a bundle of technology. Why are you paying for it twice? Same as we're having, Carl, like a phone system. If you've got E5, you've got kind of a phone system. Why are you paying for something else? On that.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we're coming back to that whole Andre kept pushing and pushing on the importance of good data. Part of that data fabric is your voice conversations, your transcripts, and Copilot does a really good job of capturing that. We spoke about this too, about like voice isolation and speaker attribution. If you have your speaker or voice enrolled in Teams, all of a sudden speaker identification, filtering out noise, all those things become available and become part of that AI fabric so easily through Copilot.
Okay, Andre, let's just try and wrap this up a little bit. Where do you think, in terms of autonomous agents in the next 12 months, where do you think they're going to be in businesses in the adoption process?
So what I'm thinking that to understand the future, you have to understand the current state of the AI. And what I see, so a couple of weeks ago, I reviewed the startups in Y Combinator and what they are doing at the moment, or what the ventures are making the investment. So there is so the startups, yes, some couple of them, they're making the AI platform to have ability these new agents like OpenClaw and some new AI autonomous agents will run. Then we need, and as we understand, as we know, that there is a security gap when running OpenClaw, and there is also the startups that are doing the tool that will make the security layer that drives the security under these autonomous agents. Also, we see that a lot of things can be automated using the multi-agent system. Maybe you know the platforms that can do autonomous research like Cosmos and other things. What they do, they simply research the scientific papers, making some hypotheses, making the experiments using the data of the scientists, and making the publications, writing the publications. And there are also some insights from these systems that researchers could make their systems like this to make their new scientific researches easier and also faster. I think faster 10 times. So, and I think, and what indeed they do, they just understood that their work can be split across functions. And they gave each function to the AI agent. And if we think using this paradigm and trying to understand what is my function in my usually daily work, then we can add some agents that can do some specific work, and we can speed up our work using these agents.
Do you think there's a bit of a fear in companies with agents?
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing, because there are a lot of companies, that are saying we're doing the agents, but they are doing the assistants. And for many people, I know they do not really understand the difference between agent and assistant, and they are misspelling this. So.
Well, that's the key thing, because there's also this whole thing where everyone thinks AI is going to take their jobs, and it's really not. It's going to help with tasks. That's the key. That's I think what's the missing part here.
And considering that Oracle, has fired thousands of people, recently. So I think the many companies will do the same.
So there's a lot of these like firing of AI seems to be getting a bad rap here. Okay, so there's a few things I would say is where, firstly, it's not uncommon in the economy where you've got investment going into capital, like machinery or manpower, okay? And it swings, the pendulum swings a bit, okay? And of course, the headline is basically, oh, we can blame AI, okay? Rather than it's in reorg, and we're actually cutting down, like we're just trimming the headcount by 5%. It's very convenient to blame that AI process when it's more of a reorg. And also, look, we had these deployments, and we did these initiatives that didn't work out. We're just trimming the headcount. Like Oracle, how many people did they fire? 30,000 people. Okay, so worldwide they've got about 160,000 people. Okay, so that's 20%. Okay, which is a high number. That's 20. That's hitting around 20-ish% on that. That is a bit of a high number. I agree, but it's like 20. It's like you got a department with 10 employees. Are you really going to miss one employee, which is 10%? Are you going to miss 2 employees? So I'm not. It's not like it's not exactly we've just cut 50% of the workforce here.
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm thinking we should think the different paradigm, not the firing the people, but to reduce the roles, because the AI is not really stick to the person. It's stick, I think, to the role. So we are automating the role, not the person itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the thing that we're seeing that some of the Oracle announcements alluded to is that they are reducing some of the sizes of their teams. If a lot of the monotonous work can now be handled by AI, well, now a 10-person team becomes an 8-person team. And I think the thing to watch out for is, well, who are they going to keep? They're going to keep the people that are AI fluent, that are using it every day.
Well, that's a reskilling. Yeah, that's a reskilling. And also, at the moment, there is as well, hang on, we do need to trim the headcount because we've got to expand all these data centers. So there's a shift in capital expenditure, investment rather than people investment.
Yeah,
and that you might find that will swing back. The pendulum swings, in both directions here. But AI is a great headline, to make that, okay, because it makes it look like Oracle AI forward. What that means, I don't know. Okay, but AI forward when we're a modern company, and and we're all rock and roll kind of thing with data centers and everything. So that's that there. All right, Andre, thank you for your time, and Carl, thanks for co-hosting.
My pleasure.
On this will be up on SoundCloud and Spotify and LinkedIn and YouTube. All right, enjoy the day and the week.
Thank you, Peter.
You.